What's shaking, AC?
I love, I just love that.
Okay, good.
That's all I'm going to say. How are you?
I'm well. How are ya?
So it's not too hot or not too cold, it looks like, because you're wearing a t-shirt. I don't see
Listen,
fans.
I've just given up on the temperature. The AC's cranking in here. It's freezing cold, but it's like 86 degrees Fahrenheit outside. So I was out there sweating. I'm just trying to balance my body temperature here somehow.
Yeah. Well, remember that time you had the sweater on and I had this great idea. Take the sweater off if you're hot.
I'm not taking anything off today because I have nothing underneath.
Okay. Keep it on. Keep it on. Okay. Sounds good. So I have a question for you.
Okay. I hopefully have an answer for you.
You do, I'm sure. So you are one of the loyal participants of the marketing roundtables we host at AC Inc., which are specifically for people that do the marketing in the franchise company. Just for anybody that's watching, all these people, that we have a roundtable for the person that wears all those hats, and the reason I wanted to start that roundtable is because holy smokes, when you're in that role, whether you're an emerging brand or further along, and we've seen it firsthand, that you're managing brand fund, you're managing franchisees' local marketing, you're trying to keep the brand innovative, you're trying to try new things, you're doing all this stuff, website, all that stuff. So you come to that roundtable quite every time, quite regularly, which is every time. And I'm curious, what are a couple of the key takeaways if you step back and sort of reflect on what you've gotten from like messaging or specific action steps or whatever you want to, wherever you want to go here.
Yeah. Okay. So marketing is such a broad topic, right? Like the 4 Ps of marketing. Some people do the 7 Ps. You could be talking about advertising instead of marketing. You could be talking about agencies and copy and assets and all that sort of stuff, right? But I think one of the biggest takeaways that I have is how valuable it is to be amongst other people talking about the same thing. Okay. And, like we could talk in these roundtables about, how do I get more franchise leads, or how do I get more customers for franchisees, or how do I spice up my SEO on my website or whatever, right?
We do.
Yeah, which we do. Absolutely. Yeah. But sometimes when you think about, I need a new idea, people immediately think about massive stunt style marketing, but that doesn't necessarily need to be the case. You just maybe need to think outside the box. So if you're consistently marketing on Facebook and you're not getting the results that you want or whatever, when you work with other people in other industries that have different experiences, they might say, well, what if you tried Instagram? Yeah. We could talk forever about getting better at Facebook, but maybe like this going to Instagram isn't a massive stunt. It's just, you think like, I hate quoting Steve Jobs because it's super cliche, but he said, when a person with creativity solves a problem, oftentimes people will say, how did you solve that? And that person will say, what do you mean? I just solved it. And to them, it's second nature. Whereas to the non-creative person, it's some sort of like genius feat. But it's because that creative person is involved in so many different things in their personal life and their hobbies and all that sort of stuff that they're able to synthesize a solution to a problem differently than anyone else can.
Mm-hmm. So I think what I'm hearing you say is that it's helpful to have people help you think differently. And what I've seen at that roundtable and with our clients and at other roundtables is people, they come and they're like, I need help with Facebook. Like, our Facebook ads aren't working, or we need them to be better. And I remember one of these sessions, someone literally did come with that. And by the end of the session, we had written Facebook off for them because we realized, like, why are you putting all your eggs in the Facebook basket? Nothing against using Facebook. I'm not saying don't use Facebook. That's not the message here. But the message is, if it's not working, what is your, like, I think people think of the method more than the end result they're looking for. And I'm going to totally mess this up, but like, I think it's the Zig Ziglar quote about people don't buy drills, they buy the hole or whatever, right? Like they want a hole, they need a hole. And so they have to get a drill to buy the hole. Well, most people when you're marketing, you're looking to get either a customer or a franchisee. and what's the method to get there? And they think it's Facebook, but at these roundtables, by the end, we're like, why don't you just also reach out to all of get your franchisees reaching out to their networks and doing this and that, or whatever. Like we come up with different solutions as a group, right? And
Yeah,
that's the
for
value
sure.
of that.
Marketing brainstorming doesn't have to be a giant 8-foot whiteboard with crazy ideas and like notes and all this stuff.
I like that kind of thing.
I know. Sorry. I guess I should be. I'm speaking in cliches. I think when people think of marketing brainstorming, it is locked in a room.
Yeah.
You're coming up with the next massive idea, like a giant blimp that's going to fly over Atlanta. It doesn't have to be that.
Or they're thinking of what should we do with, like, now I'm kind of contrasting what you're saying, but, or they're like, what should we do different on Facebook? What should we do different on Instagram and all that? And but they're just stuck in that tunnel vision of this is the thing we need to do without realizing there's better and other things out there. So I think what you're saying is the better and other things out there don't have to be this big crazy thing. But when you get together with your peeps and your friends and your people that know what you're going through, you start to kind of you're open, and it creates that space and that creativity to think of those things. And I think this is I know we've talked probably about this before, but I think this is a good example. My dad, when we go back to my dad in the early days of M&M, with the business, he, of course there was no social media back then, but there were things like newspaper and flyers and, different other options. You could go put, things on people's car. Like there were different ways of messaging. But he at Halloween went and bought 100 pumpkins, or maybe had them donated from a local pumpkin patch, brought those pumpkins to the local school nearby, and had all the kids carve them, bring them back, put them on the thing. It's not like a major stunt, but it's just different, right?
Yep.
Put them all on the boulevard in front of the store. And then I always say, like, what do you think happened? Everyone, oh, look at the pumpkins. No, even more than that. The kids wanted to get their parents to come and see those pumpkins, see their pumpkin. Mom, Dad, we got to go to M&M. I got to show you my pumpkin. Well, guess who our target market was? Families with kids. And they were like, that was them. So it's, I think like it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't have to be this giant big thing, but if we give ourselves space to collaborate with our peers and we come up with these great things, then, often they're there, but we just need someone to help bring them out.
Yeah. And you know what? I think that goes to show that, we live in a world these days that is just obsessed about data and science and everything left-brained and rigid, and it's starting to get obnoxious. A lot of marketing isn't that. A lot of marketing is just understanding the person, rolling off your intuition. Sales is like that too. I could follow a sales process and not close the sale, or I could follow a sales process and close the sale, and how I interact is very different. So when you're thinking of something marketing, and you're like, well, how am I going to track that? Well, maybe you're not, get used to it and give it a shot and get over yourself.
Yeah. Well, and there's, with marketing, there's building brand, and then there's like trying to get direct ROI too, right? So sometimes I think you have to accept you can't track this, but you can track that. But we talk about this also in the marketing, in the franchisor roundtables, that like, when it comes to friend dev, like you don't know where they actually, like they might have come through the website, but they saw your ad 5 times or your post 5 times on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, so the tracking's also arbitrary. But the other thing about marketing is I believe is it's just all about getting attention. Like, what can you do to get attention? If you have to walk around in a Kelly Kebab costume or or goof around with a wavy blowy thing, those blowy things,
yeah,
like
wacky wavy inflatable arm dude.
Yeah, and you want to go like get some attention by hanging out with those. Anybody that's been following me for a while will know what I'm talking about. But so marketing is all about getting attention. And anyway, I'm glad that you're at the roundtables. Keep it coming.
Love being there.
Okay.
Wrap
up time.
Let's wrap it up. Here we go.
3,
2, 1. Go be awesome.
Do you like what I did there?